Good morning. I'm live from Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Namaste Today. Good morning, my friend, and Namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac weather. My name is Witecki. I am the Sensei to Sirius Joy. My mission is to stand in my heart and walk in the light. It is a pleasure to be by your side. Thank you for logging in. I'm lovecasting live from the Sirius Joy Studio Gardens on Thursday, May 7th, 2015. And today, again, we are in a two-part day. As we start the day, Step 16 rules the day. So let's just kind of review Step 16. We wake up in a state of loving and trusting and hopefully open to receiving. So this morning, if you felt super vulnerable, well, it might be that you were open to receiving, but you weren't aware of the fact you're open to receiving. So it does maybe feel vulnerable if you're not conscious of the fact that we're open to receiving. So it's easy to tip the scales when we're in a Step 6 energy. And so for the first half of the day, you really want to be sensitive to your scales, sensitive to your sensibilities and sensitivities. So in that way, it's kind of a cloudy day, and this does add to a 7. So it's a spiritual day the first half of the day. Then at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time, we will shift to Step 17, ruling the day. And this is the end of the day and the evening. Now, because some people manifest early, that's why I'm particularly reporting the second step. A lot of people will get to the second step right in the beginning of the day. A lot of people tell me that they'll actually have their karma the day before my horoscope. They'll say, oh, that happened for me the day before. Well, in those cases, when you are kind of on the edge of astrology, then when you're really aware, you tend to manifest early. So people who are aware manifest earlier than what I report because they're on top of it and they're literally at the edge of their awareness. It's a great thing. For people who are not aware, well then I report to like where kind of the deadlines are and where things will be. So the deadline is you will be ready to decide, okay, 5:30 p.m. Eastern onward, but probably not ready to decide until then, okay? But for those who are aware, you probably already decided, which is what tonight is about. So tonight through tomorrow, we're making a decision. And we're making a decision that's really a commitment. We're in the proficient Act 2, the second dimension of Taurus. And this is what we're going to embody. And we're making a decision about what we want to embody. So in each of your lives, you might be making a decision about creating and embodying a new lifestyle, a new house, a new family, a new career, a new chapter, a new limb. I mean, new anything, all right? And so this is the next 24-hour period where we're ready to say, okay, I'm ready to act, I'm ready to commit. So we'll talk about what goes into the ingredients of the incarnation of committing. But before we do, let's first tame our brain, shall we, with the phrase of today. I am going with the flow and listening to everything along the way. And so it is. So today I'm going with the flow and listening. That's a lot. I am going with the flow and I am listening. That's basically the two commands. Go with the flow and listen. Go with the flow and listen. All right? To everything along the way, which means I'm not actually listening to the future. I'm not actually processing the past. Like, what does she mean by that? You know what I mean? Like, no processing the past. Like, I'm helping you steer where your joy meter is here in your consciousness. You want to be going with the flow and listening to everything along the way. So we're in the present. We are listening to what goes by. So we listen in on the conversation of, let's say, the secretary and her boss as we hear it. But then once we leave that, maybe we don't listen in anymore, or we don't go back and listen, right? Like, you listen along the way. Well, I'll tell you, it's along the way that you get your answers. It's along the way that you get your affirmations. It's in the moment of the matrix that you get your answers. And as we are about to go into committing to our answers, we want to listen to the little signals and signs along the way. The other part of this is I'm going with the flow. So if you're not going with the flow or the flow stops, that's something that is a big thing to hear along the way. Like, whoa, the flow stopped. If the flow ever stops, something's not working. Something's not right. You're not dancing with the universe. You're not in the matrix. I'm not saying we don't have a pause and let someone else take a turn for a second, but we're always boogieing, no matter what. So one more time to keep it in our mind, I'm going with the flow and listening to everything along the way. And so it is, because I said so. I thought so. Now the serious step of the day, the one I'm reporting on, is step 17. If you want to know 16, go back to yesterday's Namaste Today. It will explain it perfectly. That's kind of how I have to thread it so that the shows don't go too over in time. So today it's step 17, the latter half of the day, or if you're running early, it comes down to what I love and trust, the 1, and 7, what I sense. So the magic formula for deciding is that we love it and we sense it's the right thing. When you love it and you sense it, you step 8, decide or commit. A decision is a commitment when you're in Act 2. So at the end of the day, Saturn's ruling the day, the decision. Saturn is the decision maker. And the moon has been in Sagittarius, and we have been exploring our philosophies about where our decisions should or should not be for the last couple of days. So really we are ready today to make that decision. So looking at the architecture of incarnation, the 7, or God, or our sensibilities, come up 3 times, and we already talked about it. The first time is just opening at large, so connecting to Mother Earth, connecting to our reality, connecting to our manifestations. That was the first act. Here in the second act, step 17 is crucial to our actual decision. So we literally check our heart, that's I love and trust, the 1, and we check God, and then we decide on those 2. So it's very important, as you can see in the architecture of incarnation, to check with God. Mostly because, Spirit will never tell you no, but Spirit will tell you that you're going to get held up if you go that path, or, hey, we've got something better for you, or way to go, you can't wait till you see what's next. Exciting, exciting. You can get total affirmation from Spirit, both spiritually and in concrete. Especially in Taurus, you get a lot of concrete kind of, examples in your life. Miracles, let's say, that are undeniable because it's in Taurus. So they're undeniable miracles. Like, no, the stoplight did turn green 3 times, like, or whatever happens. You're like, okay. So that's the second act. And today we're checking in before we make this commitment at 8. And then I'll just point out, in Act 3, 27 is when we take that final action. The final jump is step 27. So again, we check with God before we jump. So check in with our spirit, super, super important. Now let's look at the colors and the chakras and see how this all spins up.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
So looking at the ruling colors and the chakras, as you know, orange, 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 step 2 is the chakra of the month. We're in Taurus, and so we are blending our root, the red, with our feelings and thoughts, the yellow, into manifesting reality. And because of the time of year and because of where Mother Earth's frequencies are, what you be and what you manifest now does come. It has to do with the magnitude of how Earth works. So this is the most powerful time to plant your crops, especially in the northern hemisphere, says our Western astrology, right? Vedic, I would ask the question to Vedic if I was in the southern hemisphere, to be honest. But that's how it works, right? So today it is all orange. Now, we add on that 7. 7 is the crown. So basically our God consciousness says, okay, should we jump or not jump? Should we manifest or not manifest? Do we pull the trigger? Do we use our karma? Do we pay? Do we spend our money in the soul bank? Yes or no is the big question. And that is the question that step 8, or our 6th chakra, our third eye basically, is what decides. So our decisions comes from the third eye. It comes from an incision of the indigo. That was what left me there for a second, the term indigo. So indigo lights up and indigo decides, which means we make a decision or an incision in our vision. And that's what the third eye does, is cast our vision forward. So we'll be making a decision with our vision in the next 24 hours. Now, speaking of timing of things, I think we'll get it down to the second if we look at our cosmic clock. And here we are with the cosmic clock. Well, the sun will progress to step 17. Step 17 by the second half of the day, like I reported. At that point, we will be loving and trusting step 10, what we sense, which is what we get from our spirit and our higher self. And that will lead to step 8, a decision. And that's what it comes down to, a decision. A pointing of our energy, a pointing of our consciousness. Where are we going to put our spiritual love, trust, energy, and even money in to manifest? That's really the next question of the next 24 hours. Now the mind is on step 8, Gemini. Mercury is ready to make a decision, and in purebred form, Mercury is in its home state of Gemini, so these decisions have deeper effect than usual. Whenever Mercury's in its home state, there's deeper effect. Mercury's going to be retrograding. We'll talk about that. But right now, we are direct in making decisions. So I recommend you make your decisions while the universe is calling for you to make decisions, at least the ones you can make, the low-hanging fruit. Now, Venus is a little triggered. She's at step 29 today, which means that she is feeling challenged to stay open. You will feel challenged to keep the door open today. It's kind of an itchy trigger finger. You know what I mean? You're like, you're a little twitchy, all right? That is because you're really ready to act. You're really ready to open up. You're really ready to sign the check. You're really ready to get pregnant, basically. We're talking about Venus, so get an idea pregnant and a project pregnant, literally pregnant, have kids, new, something new, manifestation. But because the step 9 is there, if it's not given something to focus on, it can create anxiety, and it could create a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, just performance anxiety, frankly, in the moment of trying to receive. So we don't want to shut down. We want to be really kind of breathing. And, one way to deal with the step 29 Venus is to take in every moment. Just go ahead and take in this moment. Go ahead and chew your food 3 times, Take in everything so you're not freaking out about, to take or not take. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mars is also adding to the equation. He's at step 27. That's a purebred Grandmaster Mars step. So Mars is purebred, just like the mind. Obviously, this is an important decision because all the planets are in rare, pure form. It's like they show up to the party in pure uniform. Now, step 27 is, if I feel it too, if I sense it, which is, there's the 7, if God says okay, then we act. And that's the Grandmaster action. So Mars is ready to feel, ready to go. So's Venus. Everyone's ready to go. It's all waiting for your decision. Now, looking at the moon is actually in a 2-part day too. The moon is in Sagittarius literally while we are in step 16. And as soon as we move into 17, it's amazing. It's almost entirely coordinated. The moon moves into Capricorn. So we'll be feeling our decision energy by the time we want to make a decision. Beautifully coordinated, the moon in step 8. And it's not just that. Basically, it's now time to feel what we decide. And by the time the moon hits Pluto, we'll be letting it go, throwing it overboard, saying, all right, that's it, I decided, I'm going to move on now. So based on Saturn, which is at step 2 Sag, and what we were feeling the last couple of days, based on what you have felt your new philosophy is, will help you with your decision tonight or tomorrow. So you might have just come to these decisions in the last couple of days just because of where the moon was. Now, looking at the Tower of Truth, let's take a look in the Gemini constellation. In Gemini, Venus is teetering on step 29. She is ready to jump. Ready to jump, right? She's ready to move on. And she's ready to move on, of course, to Cancer. Now, Mercury is at step 8. So their step differential remains to be step 21, which means belief is what brings together the mind and the receiving. In other words, if the mind is uncertain on deciding, or you are uncertain to jump, remember what you believe in. That will get the two together, is what the differential says. Now, looking in the Taurus Tower of Truth, Mars is high up in the grand step 27, and the Sun is at step 17, giving them, again, a step differential of 10. They've been in perfect harmony. So, as you act, you manifest. That's how these tie together with the differential. And so I think the focus here is to be on what you're feeling and what you're sensing and whether or not to jump or not. So let's actually boil it down into some simpler terms and the way to manage the day, which I call today's Joy Quest. Your Joy Quest, should you choose to accept it, is say it out loud and say it proud. What I mean is, whatever it is you are sensing from Spirit or God. That's kind of like the test of throwing a noodle onto the fridge to see if it's ready. Ever heard that test when you're cooking? Throw it on the fridge. If it sticks, I guess the pasta's ready because there's enough starch in it. So the kind of starch test, I guess, is the way to put this, as to whether or not the information you're getting from God or Spirit is legit, is say it out loud and say it proud. Now, no one needs to actually hear you say it out loud, but when you say it out loud like, all right then, I'm going to move to Nebraska and start a cattle farm. Yes. And if you don't feel that, if you can't say it out loud and say it proud, your spirit is not telling you that. that was warped part of imagination. And that's not to say that you have a hard time saying it proud. That's not to say you have a hard time saying it loud. I mean, that's, proud and loud are kind of extremes of it. But really, when you say it out loud, period, you will get a warning in the pit of your stomach that you are lying, that this is not correct, that this is not right when you say it out loud. A lot of us stay in our mind. We stay in step 5. We don't bring it out. We don't hear it in the physical. And putting it through the voice, remember receiving, is it come and go easy? Well, is it easy to say out loud and proud that you want this? Is it easy to come and go of you talking about this topic? So that is the noodle on the fridge. Say it out loud and say it proud. If you can't, there might be an issue there. Listen to your gut when you say it out loud. Now, for those who are watched over my personal Sensei network, I'm going to help you hone in on what you're trying to manifest. At 9:09, I'm going to talk about your Mercury at step 29 and give you little warnings on where you need to maintain intellectual sanity today. So I'll be like, remain sane here, go crazy everywhere else. All right. Then at 11 a.m., I'm going to talk about your Neptune placement in your rising sign and where you must self-forgive 100%. So where you get a hall pass off for everything. And then at 3:03 p.m., I'm going to talk about your Saturn placement in your chart, and that is where self-judgment needs to change now, where you have to change your self-judgment in this particular area that I talk about. All that's in the Personal Sensei Network. And again, if you'd like to subscribe, it's just $19.95, and I'm encouraging you 5 to 7 times a day, saying the things you need to hear. Find out more at SiriusJoy.me. So now on to our today's telepathy. We're talking about Taurus stars, and today I am bringing male Taurus actor legends to the table. That is the theme. Male Taurus actor legends. And these are all actor legends, you will have no doubt. So which of these actor legends am I thinking about? From my temple to yours, let's see if you pick it up. Number 1, actor Rudolph Valentino, very much a legend in the beginning of Hollywood. Number 2, actor Jimmy Stewart, also a legend in Hollywood. Or actor Henry Fonda, also a legend. Which one of these male Taurus acting legends am I sending to your temple? I'll have the answer right after this. Introducing Secrets of Birthdays. Bow chicka bow wow. Are you ready to find love? Bow chicka bow wow. Your secrets are coming out. Bow chicka bow wow. All those sexy secrets are available at secretsofbirthdays.com. Bow chicka bow wow, baby. Welcome back to Namaste today. And for the answer to today's telepathy, from my mind to yours, I was sending you a picture of one of these 3 Taurus acting legends. Was it number 1, Rudolph Valentino, number 2, Jimmy Stewart, or number 3, Henry Fonda? And the answer is Jimmy Stewart. Did you pick that up? Lots of images of Jimmy Stewart. I didn't know Jimmy Stewart was a Taurus, but I have to say I always loved Jimmy Stewart. I mean, of course, It's a Wonderful Life. Turns out he is a Grandmaster Step 29 Taurus. Wow. And what's Step 29? I feel and I put it into action. So a person who feels and put into action is an actor, and boy was he an actor, a brilliant actor, and so grounded and, just legendary, and that rock, that Taurus Gibraltar kind of rock. So love Jimmy Stewart. It's a Wonderful Life is, of course, probably the picture that it will go down in history forever and always introduce new generations to him. But my personal favorite was Rear Window with Alfred Hitchcock as the director. My favorite Jimmy Stewart film, just for the record. So moving on to today's rock and roll gospel, let's take a look at some Taurus rock and roll legends, or some Taurus rock and roll musicians anyways, that bring us some real valuable gospel, because that's what Taurus brings, is value to the table. And today I have to say this particular musician has brought so much value to my own personal childhood, this also my ability to create, my ability to escape, my ability to think differently and think outside the box. Who am I speaking to? Pete Townsend of The Who. All right, oh my God. Born May 19th, 1945, and also a master Step 27 Taurus. Oh, because I'm a Step 18, which adds to a 9. So a Step 27 would be the next 9 available in the hierarchy of incarnation. So this guy truly, and I have to say, and today's song is so appropriate because we're talking to God, my favorite, one of my favorites, and on my iPhone right now, Who Are You? So defining. Who are you? Right? Such an awesome, personal, rock and roll, perfect gospel, really, to today's question. If you are in doubt today, ask yourself, well, who are you? That's what you're meant to manifest, right? But before you rock and roll gospel with Pete Townsend, let's take a look at the moods of each of your brothers and sisters today, and a special soul vitamin designed for this cloudy and misty day to help you along your way. In fact, today I'm going to help you with the placement of Mercury. Remember, Mercury's at Step 29? Well, I'm going to be talking about where it is your test of sanity will be today. In other words, don't take it too personally intellectually. Don't let yourself go insane in this area. In the 11 steps of Sirius Joy, starting with the secret and private step, Step 0, the Scorpios. Scorpio, sunny and quite serious today, but my advice is to not let your mind be too triggered by personal limits. So your mind will be triggered by all sorts of limits. They could be as small as someone putting down the window without asking you. Step 1, the Leos, sunny and super hyper aware by the time the moon moves into Capricorn. But be careful, you'll be tested in your sanity when it comes to social expectations. Step 2's the Cancers, sunny and sentimental today, but you may be tested in your sanity when it comes to inner faith today. Step 3, the Sagittariuses, partly cloudy but productive nonetheless. I think you might be tested in personal sanity with personal long-term relationships, so your marriage partners or your business partnerships. Step 4, the Aquariuses, cloudy, introverted, and spiritual today, but you might be tested of your sanity with love or creative projects. That includes children as well, so a child may test you to the limits there of your sanity. Step 5, the Geminis, cloudy and reserved and private today, but you might be tested on your sanity when it comes to your ability to perform or your ability to defend yourself in the moment. Step 6, the Librans, cloudy, nesting, and resting by the end of the day, but you might be tested on your sanity when it comes to beliefs or your personal life purpose. Step 7, the Pisces, sunny and super social today once the moon moves into Capricorn, but you might be tested on your personal sanity with feelings or family member issues, so issues with family politics. Step 8, sunny and super cool for the Capricorns once the moon is in their sign, but you might be tested on your sanity with your health or your work activities. All right, might be overworking yourself, Capricorn. Step 9, the Aries, sunny and professional today, but you might be tested on your sanity just with your thoughts or too many messages going on. Step 10, the Tauruses, the birthday Tauruses, sunny and learning today, but you might be tested on your sanity when it comes to manifesting money or abundance. Oh God, do I know that one. Then step 11's the Virgos, sunny and childlike today, but you might be tested on your sanity when it comes to your career expectations. So keep it simple, handle it one by one. So moving on to the Lightwalker Parade. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. We thank you ahead of time. It helps us with our YouTube relationship. And on Facebook, you can be our friend by navigating to soulgarden.me. And it's just a day away from my birthday, and I'm having a birthday sale. If you buy a 1 hour, you'll get a 30-minute follow-up that you can use through August 31st, 2015. Come on down to soulmart.me for that. And you might want to sign up for the Sirius Joy Personal Sensei service, where I will be with you by your side 5 to 7 times a day. Come watch a video on our website at seriousjoy.me to get an idea of the service and give it a try. And as always, on this cloudy yet spiritual day, I say thank you. Thank you for being there for me. It is a pleasure, this Namaste, giving and receiving. I definitely feel your gratitude, and I am grateful for you. Remember, my friend, say it out loud and say it proud today. I love you, and live, love, be. This is just so ironic.